Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Victor Gaming. Today we will take a look at the best selling PlayStation 2 games. If you had a PlayStation 2 back in the day and want to see more videos like this, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, please remember that if you want to see more videos about all things gaming related, then you can go ahead and click the subscribe button. You can also click the bell icon to get notified of new uploads. If you want to. If you don't want to, that's also cool with me, but it will really help the channel out a lot if you do. Alright, so without any further delay, here is the list of the best selling PlayStation 2 games of all time. Hope you enjoy.
Number 10.
Kingdom Hearts is a mix between Disney and Final Fantasy. It follows the adventures of Sora, a cheerful teenager who fights against the forces of darkness alongside Donald Duck, Goofy and other Disney characters. For most of the game, Sora is joined by Donald Duck and Goofy. Donald, the court wizard, and Goofy, the captain of the royal guard, are sent from Disney Castle to find the Keyblade. The three join forces to search for King Mickey Mouse, Kairi and Riku. The primary antagonist is Ansem, who seeks power and knowledge using dark beings called the Heartless. The Heartless, that's hearts corrupted by darkness, serve as most of the enemies encountered in the game and come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Square also incorporated several characters from the Final Fantasy series into the game, though the characters are slightly altered to fit the game's backstory. Kingdom Hearts is considered by some gaming publications to be one of the greatest video games of all time.
Number 9.
Final Fantasy XII is the 12th main installment in a Final Fantasy series, developed and published by Square Enix. Like most of the other games in the series, the player characters will level, gain skills, cast magic, use summons, limit breaks and fight monsters, but there are some great differences between the gameplay in the previous games and this one. The most notable difference being the elimination of random encounters in favor of engaging enemies on the field with no separate battle screen, using what they call the active dimension battle system. Final Fantasy XII has a cast of 6 main characters that, once formed, never changes. 3 guest characters, not including hunt allies, join the party during the story, and the player plays a different character during the prologue. According to the developers, there is no main character as the game is about numerous people, not just one person. Final Fantasy XII received widespread critical acclaim and has retrospectively been listed as one of the best games in the series.
Number 8.
Tekken 5 is credited for taking the series back to its roots. It incorporates a faster, more fluid fighting system and improved graphics. The game removes several major gameplay changes that were introduced in Tekken 4, such as uneven stage terrain, in favor of faster gameplay similar to the older games in the series. It is also the first game in the series to feature the ability to customize your characters with accessories, clothing and other aesthetic items purchased with in-game currency. There are up to 32 characters to choose from, including 7 new fighters. Due to the huge imbalance in the original version of the game, most notably concerning the likes of Steve and Kazuya, an arcade exclusive update was released known as Tekken 5.1. Aside from attempting to balance the game, 5.1 also changes the health bar from yellow to green.
Number 7.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty is a stealth action game for the PlayStation 2. The game received a Metascore of 96 on Metacritic and an average of 95% on game rankings. While the gameplay and graphics were universally acclaimed, critics and fans were divided on the philosophical nature and execution of the game's storyline, which explores the themes of memes, social engineering, political conspiracies, and artificial intelligence. Meme tech engineering, that's the theory that ideas, beliefs, and thoughts can be isolated and controlled, is the theme of this game. The aim of the Patriots is to control the flow of information through society, censoring what they deem to be trivial or biased information from the public. With the dawn of the digital age, information can spread more openly and freely by individuals, but this also carries the risk that said information is biased or outright incorrect, thus allowing lies to become part of human culture and slowing down the overall evolutionary progress of humanity. Critics and fans were also divided on Raiden, a new character who serves as the main protagonist for the majority of the game and the length of the game's cutscenes. Over the years, the game has seen greater acclaim though.
Number 6.
Grand Theft Auto 3, also shortened to just GTA 3, is a 2001 action-adventure game that was originally released for the PlayStation 2 console but also saw ports for the PC and Xbox. The game's narrative follows the adventures of Claude, a silent criminal who was betrayed by his girlfriend Catalina during a bank heist. Claude begins to work for different factions in the crime-riddled Liberty City, including the Mafia, Yakuza, and corrupted figures. Set in an open-world environment, Grand Theft Auto 3 is the first game in the series to be presented in a fully 3D world, shifting away from the top-down perspective that characterized previous games in this franchise. Grand Theft Auto 3 was universally acclaimed upon its release. Critics praised the game for its presentation, game design, freedom, sound design, and ambition, though it has been the subject of controversy due to its violent nature.
Number 5.
Final Fantasy X is the 10th installment in the Final Fantasy series, developed for the PlayStation 2, making it the first in the franchise to be developed for 6th generation consoles. This installment presents multiple novelties unpublished in the series. The most notable is the transition from pre-rendered scenarios to mostly third-dimensional modeled areas. Additionally, voice actors were introduced for the dialogues to replace subtitles, making it impossible to rename the characters, except for Tidus and Eons, whose names were not mentioned in the vocal dialogues. Final Fantasy follows the traditional scheme of the series of turn-based combat systems, but with a variation. Since the ATB bar, famous in the previous installments of the series, does not exist, the system is replaced by one where it indicates the remaining number of turns before an action can be taken. Final Fantasy X received a great reception from both the public and from critics.
Number 4.
Ben Silverman from Game Revolution described GTA Vice City the best, saying, "The depth of this game is unparalleled. There are hordes of side quests and missions and cool little Easter eggs. You need to follow the main story in order to open up the whole city and gain access to property acquisition, but you can still spend hours just wandering around getting into trouble." GTA Vice City is arguably the most heavily influenced Grand Theft Auto game, taking inspiration from a wide range of classic 1980s movies, television programs, and music. Perhaps the closest real-life counterpart to GTA Vice City is the television series Miami Vice. Aside from broad-ranging similarities like 80s music, including new wave, hip-hop, R&B, soul, glam, metal and synthesizer pop, organized crime, drug trafficking, styled cars, pastel clothes, etc., several specific references are included. For example, At a 3-star wanted level or above, the player will be chased by 2 undercover police officers named Cracker and Butts, who strongly resemble Sonny Crockett and Ricardo Tubbs, the primary characters from the TV series. Furthermore, these officers drive a VCPD Cheetah, which is itself styled after the 1986 Ferrari Testarossa, which is Crockett's car in the latter 3 seasons of the show. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for the top 3 best-selling PlayStation 2 games. Are you ready? Can you guess what it is? Here we go.
Number 3.
Gran Turismo 4, often just abbreviated as GT4, is a racing game for the Sony PlayStation 2, which is published by Polyphony Digital. Gran Turismo 4 is one of only 4 titles for the PlayStation 2 that is capable of 1080i output, one of them being Tourist Trophy, which was also created by Polyphony Digital. GT4 features over 700 cars from 80 manufacturers, from as early as the 1886 Daimler motor carriage and as far into the future as concepts for 2022. The game also features 51 tracks. Many of them are new or modified versions of the previous original courses, with some notable real-world additions, such as the Suzuka circuit. Jeremy Clarkson, host of the Top Gear television program, performed a head-to-head test of real life versus GT4 on an episode of the program. He ran Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in real life in a Honda NSX for a lap time of 1:57. His GT4 lap time was 1:41. Clarkson also had to be shown by a race driving instructor where the line was between game and reality. He pointed out that adjusting one's braking mid-turn in a real car could cause loss of control, and also mentioned that in the game he is compelled to take bigger risks than he would in real life. IGN rated the game 9.5 out of 10.
Number 2.
Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. The arcade mode has been reorganized into stages. These stages are made up of 5 to 6 tracks pulled from the available courses in the game, including dirt courses. To progress and unlock the next stage, all tracks on the stage must be completed on easy difficulty or higher. By beating the stage on normal or difficult, additional cars are unlocked to play. The simulation mode also has a reorganized layout with a more structured and progressive arrangement of races and challenges. Races vary from short beginner events to multi-hour endurance races, and includes dirt rally events against an opponent. In addition, the car dealerships are now organized by country and then by manufacturer, which some find to be more intuitive than the north, south, east, west city method used in its predecessor. On the downside, far fewer vehicles are available in Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, 187 in total, than Gran Turismo 2 with just under 620. This is attributed largely to the work needed for the more detailed graphics, providing detailed statistics for all the cars, and the game's release being early in the PlayStation 2's lifespan. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec was met with critical acclaim from game critics. It received an aggregate score of 94.5% on game rankings and 95% on Metacritic, placing it among the top 50 of all games on the multi-platform site and in the top 10 of PlayStation 2 titles. And now in the first spot for the best-selling PlayStation 2 game of all time.
Number 1.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. By far the largest, most complex playing field of any 3D universe game. San Andreas consists of 3 fully realized cities, Los Santos, San Fierro and Los Venturas, and includes vast expanses of countryside, forests, a desert and even a mountain with many hills. The game is centered around the return of Carl Johnson, also known as CJ, to his gang, the Grove Street families, and their subsequent return to power. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is similarly structured to the previous 2 games in the series. The core gameplay consists of elements of a third-person shooter and a driving game, affording the player a large open environment in which to move around. On foot, the player's character is capable of walking, running, swimming, which is the first GTA game in which the player can swim without drowning, limited climbing and jumping, as well as using weapons and various forms of hand-to-hand combat. Players can operate a variety of vehicles, including automobiles, boats, airplanes, helicopters, trains, tanks, motorcycles and bicycles. Players may also import vehicles rather than steal them. Alright ladies and gentlemen, that was my list of the best selling PlayStation 2 games of all time. I really hope you enjoyed this video as I did making it. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do so. It really helps out the channel a lot. You can also hit the like button if you like this video and click the bell icon to get notified of my latest uploads. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!